Find the value of the unknown x in the right angle triangle below. We have 12 centimeters on the diagonal and x, and we've been given an angle 38 degrees. Should we use sine, cos, or tan, or should we use Pythagoras' theorem? We know that Pythagoras' theorem, in order to use that, we need two sides to be given to us, which we don't have. So it's going to have to be something else. Sine, cos, and tan is very helpful when we have an angle. In this case, theta. We're going to call that theta. So we've chosen sine, cos, or tan. Now let's label the rest of the triangle. Across from the right angle is always the hypotenuse. And opposite the angle that we've been given is called the opposite side, believe it or not. Adjacent to the angle we've been given is called the adjacent. You can think of the adjacent side as the line that connects the right angle and the angle that we've been given. So 38 degrees and the right angle are connected by the adjacent side. Okay, so label the triangle. Good job, well done. And identify the correct formula to write. So when we are using sine, cos, and tan, we use this little table here. I like to just focus on the SO, the CAR, and the TOA, and then from there we can create the formula. S stands for sine theta, O stands for opposite, and H stands for hypotenuse. And so you can see the second letter of the three-letter word goes on top of the fraction, and the last letter goes on the bottom. Okay. C stands for cosine theta or cos theta. A is the adjacent on top, and the last one, H, goes on the bottom, hypotenuse. T equals tan theta. O is opposite, goes on top. A adjacent on the bottom. So sine theta equals opposite over hypotenuse. CAR, cosine theta, equals adjacent over hypotenuse. And TOA, tan theta, equals opposite over adjacent. So, CAR, TOA. We've been asked to identify and write the relevant formula. Is it going to be sine theta, cos theta, or tan theta? In order to find out, we need to look back at our triangle. Now I've been given the value of 12 as my hypotenuse. So my hypotenuse is important to me. And I've been asked to find x, which is the adjacent. And so the adjacent is important to me. Over here on the opposite, I've not been given any information, nor have I been asked to find anything out about this particular side. And so the opposite side, in this occasion, the opposite side is not relevant to us. So we are looking in the SO, in the CAR, and the TOA. We are looking for one of these three words that has a H and an A. And you can see the CAR has a H and an A. The TOA, it has a H, but it doesn't have an A. And pardon me, the SO has a H but not an A, and the TOA has an A but not a H. Okay, so I am going to write my formula as cosine theta equals adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over the hypotenuse, and substitute in the values into the formula. So you can see I have 38 degrees as my theta there, so I can write cos of 38 or cosine of 38. And my adjacent is my unknown x. My hypotenuse is 12 centimeters. We'll just write 12 for now. Substitute in the formula. Well done. Okay, rearrange and calculate. I want to get x by itself. I don't want the x with anything else right now. I want it by itself. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by 12. Remembering that when multiplying, the order doesn't matter. I can put the 12 first, or I can put it last. Okay, so 12 times something, or something times 12 is the same thing. If I take some number and I multiply it by 12 and then I divide it by 12, I'm just going to end up with the number that I started with. Okay, and we can just write 12 cosine or cos. I like to say cosine. Other people like to say cos. Doesn't really matter. Okay, so 12 cosine of 38 equals x. So we've rearranged. Well done. Give that a tick. Now we need to calculate. Okay, so we've got a Casio FX82 calculator in front of us. The first thing we need to do before doing any calculations is make sure we are in degrees if we've been given degrees. So going back to our question, we've been given our angle theta in degrees. So we need to make sure our calculator is in degrees. Now to do that, we need to go to setup here. You You can see setup's written in yellow, so I press shift and then setup. And it takes me to a place where I have a number of different options. Okay, now I want degrees. Let's just see what it looks like though for a second if I choose number 4. So number 4 should be radians, and you can see we have a little R there. I don't want that. I want, going back to setup, I want degrees because our angle was given to us in degrees. So choosing number 3, and we're back in D for degrees. All right, so x equals 12 cosine or cos of 38. Let's write 12 cosine 38, close that bracket, and press equals, and the answer is 9.456, 129, etc. So I'm going to write x equals 9.456. X equals 9.456 centimeters. Alright, so we've calculated. Good, give that a tick. Write your final answer in the correct units and decimal places. Alright, now we have not been asked to round to any decimal places, so I'm just going to round to 2 decimal places. I'm going to put a line after 2 decimal places like that, put a box around my 5 and my 6. I'm going to ask myself a question, is 56 closer to 60 or is it closer to 50? The answer is obviously it's closer to 60. So I'm going to write 4, 6, and then I'm not going to write the 0. I'm just going to put centimeters in there, rounding to 2 decimal places. Final answer is done. We've done the correct units. We've been given centimeters here, so answer is going to be in centimeters. And we've rounded to 2 decimal places. Okay, I hope this is helpful for you. Have a go at some similar questions in your textbook. All the best.